Right. So the other day we started unit 4, that is Julius Caesar, retold by William Shakespeare. Actually, in the historical background, in BC 43, there was in Roman history, there was a great king by name Julius Caesar. So that story is taken again by Shakespeare, and he explained, or he being the greatest dramatist, he again uh, changed his the suitable things which he has adopted for his own things. So that is why it is Shakespeare retold Julius Caesar. An extract from Act 3 and Scene 2. Here I very clearly mentioned from first day itself that play or drama are same, playwright or dramatist. Just like a novel, novelist, essay, essayist, poems and poet. Prose, one who writes prose is known as author, writer. You call him either author or writer. Whereas in the case of play, he is playwright, not the playwriter. That is what you need to remember. And with regarding William Shakespeare, I spoke a lot. He was born on April 23, 1564, and died on April 23, 1660. And many great people have given their opinions on him. Commentators are there. Many researches have been done on him, and many great things spoke about that man, because he was like any other man in the world, but he created very, very great things in his lifetime. So due to that, his name is still in very much spoken everywhere across the globe and all over the world. He is very famous. At the outset, I clearly mentioned that his acts even today, his plays even today are being enacted in every country, or in maximum countries where English is being spoken. His plays are being performed at higher level at the universities, then in colleges, UG undergraduate colleges, intermediates, and even schools. His plays are being performed. It means we can understand the weight, the legacy he left over to the English literature. Literature is an ocean. For that matter, any literature, provided if we have some background in literature, in any language which you wish, maybe mother tongue or any other tongue, that will lead you to other literatures also. But remember, every one of you should remember or start focusing on any one of the literature. In your lifetime, if you want to be very exuberant or very understandable person, very knowledgeable person, you must be very thorough in any one of the literatures. Maybe mother tongue, regional language, or whatever you wish to, in that one, have complete command of that language, and at the same time do some literature studies in that one. Literature is again, it's a very broadest term, under its umbrella, many other things come in it. Poetry, one genre; prose, one genre; novel is one genre; fiction, non-fiction, essays, so on, so forth, comes under the category of literature. So if you have knowledge of literature of any language, that will definitely show you ways to enter into some other literature, and will also help you to understand very deeply. So one must focus very deeply in one of the literatures which he cherishes, along with your subjects, along with your, any other thing which you would like to improvise in your life. One part of one part one share you are supposed to uh, give towards literature. After all, whatever you develop in the subject or whatever things you improvise in your skills, you suppose if you are from commerce background, you might be having wonderful knowledge about commerce and all those things. But unless and until there is a way to explain, to express, you are not going to show your, ideology, your mindset, your powerful thoughts to others. For that you need some vehicle to communicate your thoughts, that is language. In language, if you are exuberant, if you are very very sound, then you can, play with the subject which you have with you. Then at the same time you can also do the domination in the language. So one sound literature background is very much essential. All the great speakers or all the great personalities of the world, definitely, I believe, and you also check, definitely have the ability to communicate well. That communication well comes from, deep sense of literature. You can, one poet, one great writer says, mind sitting in its own place can play hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. So how it comes? Mind, if you assume, if you presume that mind is there in the brain, or the total body becomes mind, then by sitting in its own place can change heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. It can, but unless and until you are thorough in explaining one of the vehicles through which you can, you know impart the knowledge which you have developed through the years. So I appeal to each and every one to improvise one of the literatures. Definitely it is going to play a vital role. Right. Then come to Shakespeare. Shakespeare was very dominant dramatist in English language, and he was also one of the greatest poets. To his credit, there were 39 plays. He wrote in his lifetime 39 great plays. Every play, the student of English literature will, you know, go on counting plays like anything. Whenever anybody asks regarding Shakespeare, immediately answers come. Usually, when you go to literature background student, then definitely will hear more things about Shakespeare. Then he wrote 154 sonnets. Sonnet, SONNET. Sonnet is 14-line poem, I said. 14 lines poem is sonnet. So 154 sonnets and 3 great long narrative poems. To his credit, there are many other things also. He did, great things. Right? He's been called England's national poet and bard of Avon. Right? And then Shakespeare was born and raised in particular place called as Stratford upon Avon. Warwickshire was a district name. It was near London. London is the capital city of England. One of the greatest cities the world has. And this writer, and you also know that English people have ruled almost all other countries of the world. they have gone to maximum parts of the world, and they ruled, and they thought that they were the sons and daughters of the God, and God only has sent them to rule all other world. But in course of time, that theory proved wrong, and now they are living in one particular country, and many others are also ruling themselves. The countries have become freed from the clutches of Britishers. Now they are ruling. Their own people are ruling their own people. Right? So he worked first from Warwickshire district. He went to London. He worked as a stable keeper and so on so forth. Then he, you know, worked in a company, Lord Chamberlain's men, later known as the King's men. That you need to remember. And then at the age of 49, that is in 1613, he appears to have retired to Stratford. Again back he went to his own hometown, where he died 3 years later. Few records of Shakespeare's private life are available, not many. So let us see what are the pre-reading questions with regarding the particular drama. That is not the whole drama, it is only one act. I said all the dramas were written into 5 acts in the earlier period. In the drama was in its peak in the Elizabethan era. Elizabethan era. The queen was Elizabeth. He was ruling England from 1558 to she came to throne in 1558, and up to 1603 she was the Queen of England, and she patronized many great poets of her age. So in Telugu language also we have Ashtadiggajalu, Navaratnalu. Ashtadiggajalu, the poets of that particular king named them 8. There were 8 poets who were patronized by Sri Krishna Devarayal in Telugu region. So we call them as Ashtadiggajalu. Navaratnalu were also there in the other kings' patronization. So in England, Elizabeth, the Queen Elizabeth patronized, and the great bunch of writers, and Shakespeare is one among them, and he was the tallest of all. So Shakespeare was doing his miraculous things during the reign of Queen Elizabeth, right? So he is asking in pre-reading questions, 1 or 2 or 3 questions. Are you familiar with the works of Shakespeare? 1 question. Have you read or seen a performance of any of his plays? Have you done it? Do you have experience, or have you seen any one of the plays performed on the stage, or have you read any of Shakespeare's plays in your school days or junior colleges? Have you seen any film or television adaptation of Shakespeare? These are all questions to you. Hope some of you might have.
I have listened about him, sir, but didn't see anything.
You haven't, yeah. So there are great things, great screenplays or movies are there on Shakespeare's dramas and Shakespeare's plays. You can. There are many things. Those who cherish to develop English language, those who want to understand some literature of English language, definitely have to go into movies. The world's best movies are very much available. For example, if you take the series that was written by J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter series. Harry Potter series. There are 7 books and 8 movies were made. Have you seen the picture Life of Pi? Life of Pi. It was also a novel, later converted. Jan Martel wrote a novel by name Life of Pi, and it was very famous picture in 2008 or so. It is there. You try and try to watch it. And Shakespeare in Love, very famous, that has come in either 2005 or 2008. Very famous picture, blockbusters. As I mentioned in the earlier, Macbeth, great tragedy, Othello, great tragedy, Hamlet, Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet. So many plays of Shakespeare were, translated or converted into movies. And when it comes to English language,
Mm.
literature, films, that category, you have many things under that category, right? So try and watch if possible. Do you know who Julius Caesar was? In the historical sense, they are asking a question. So if we know Julius Caesar, then only we can say he was the one of the famous rural rulers of Rome, the famous country once. Rome
Yes,
Empire.
sir.
Rome Empire, people talk about Rome Empire, Roman culture, Roman architecture, Roman. It means related to Rome. Once, now where is Rome? What do you understand by Rome? There is also a saying goes like this with regarding Rome city. Rome was not built in a day. But what is Rome? It's the capital city of Italy now. And there you also have one country by name Vatican City. Very small country where only these priests live, only male priests live. Very small, the smallest country, one of the smallest countries I believe is Vatican City. That is in Rome. Rome is the capital city of Italy. But earlier, Italy used to be part of Roman Empire. Roman Empire was very large, so that was made into Italy later, and many parts of the Europe were under Roman Empire. If you have some historical base, then definitely you will understand this. Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was one of the rulers who ruled this particular uh, empire, that is Rome, Roman Empire. In the history, we read Greek literature, Greek culture, and Greek literature, and Roman literature. Roman literature is known as Roman's language was Latin. Greek's language, Greek and Greek's language were Greek only. But Roman's language was not Roman. It is known as Latin. Latin and Greek languages have left lots of legacy uh, to English literature. English literature has taken many words from this Roman, that is Latin language, and at the same time Greek language. Greek and Roman languages are very much helped the English language. English has become so rich because it has taken or adopted or borrowed many words from all other languages of the world. It is an inclusive language, I explained some other day. Very, in nature, very inclusive. That's why it has become very famous language of the world at present. Okay, so Julius Caesar was the ruler of Roman Empire. So there is a great talk about him, great king or bad king, good king, great king. These names are there. So what happened? Why Shakespeare has adopted? As we are not reading the whole play, 5 acts, so only one part. If we have some background basis, then only we will understand that part very well. In that way, I am explaining you, I am giving you some brief information with regarding Roman Empire and Julius Caesar. And Rome was not built in a day, because Rome is the most beautiful city in the world at present, and it was also. Okay, Rome is the one of the wonderful, beautiful cities in the world. Very beautiful, right? Then, do you know where he was from, or which period in history he belonged to? That's what we need to concentrate. Have you ever heard a speech that moved? See, this is very important, crucial thing. Have you ever heard a speech that moved or inspired you? See, here we are going to see two speeches. In this Act 3, it means we are not reading Act 1 completely, number of scenes. We are leaving Act 2 completely. Then right in the middle, we are in the third act, and we are also not doing scene 1, only we are doing scene 2. There, only 3-4 characters are there. Citizens 1 to 4 will be there. 1, 2, 3, 4 citizens of Rome Empire. Okay, 1, 2, 3. They speak only few one line. 2, 3 times they speak only one line. And then one character by name Brutus, he was the close friend of Julius Caesar. He speaks. After murdering Julius Caesar, he speaks. On the dead body of Julius Caesar, he speaks. Then Julius Caesar's one more close friend, he was the well-wisher. Not like Brutus, Mark Antony was there. Mark Antony speaks later. After Brutus' speech, Mark Antony's speech comes. That's it. 3-4 citizens, one line. First comes Brutus after killing, after murdering Caesar, the great warrior, you can say, the great ruler. He was being killed by bunch of friends, and the closest of them was Brutus. Brutus kills Julius Caesar. They were close friends. There was great conspiracy that took place to kill Brutus. As they planned, they executed, they killed him. Right, that comes later. See, have you ever heard a speech that moved or inspired you? It's a very great thing. When you are conscious enough to improvise your standards, you will be keeping your senses open. Then you will be picking up certain things from some person who is speaking you, or who is your favorite actor, actress, or person whom you imitate generally. But the thing is, you should open your senses. After all, senses will only lead you into the real knowledge. Senses are the gateways to the knowledge, it is said. Senses are the great gateways of the knowledge. Knowledge only comes when you enter into, by crossing the threshold. By crossing the threshold of these senses, if you enter into the room, then only you will see the knowledge. Right. So this is the great line again. Have you ever heard a speech that moved or inspired you? It means maybe a class, maybe a teacher, maybe a lecturer, maybe your parent, maybe your kin and kith, or any person whom you think about a lot, whom you imitate. So open up, keep open your things, that is your senses or consciousness. You be ready to receive, then you can. Maybe in your own subject, that maybe your commerce, that maybe your business management, maybe your any of the subject, but unless and until you are ready, nobody is going to give you. anything. If you are ready to receive, then only it is effective to speak. A communicator, a speaker becomes complete when the receivers are ready. Unless and until that other part is okay, this part is not going to play any role. The communicator becomes futile, or the person who is speaker becomes futile if there are no receivers. So that is what. When do you receive? Well, when do you receive? When you are ready to receive. That readiness, how it comes? It comes when you are motivated enough. How do you get motivated? So that's what. If you want to do something, you have to take something, then only you can give back. So that taking process, as you are young, as you are going to be the citizens of the country, the persons of the families, so you are going to have lot of burden on your shoulders, you are going to fulfill. So in order to become a giver, first you take. That is not from this class or that class, it can be from any class. First be good receivers. I hope this line have given you some sense. In that way only I am speaking. Have you ever heard a speech that moved or inspired you? Do you know any of famous speeches? Because here we are going to see only two speeches. Two people will speak, right? So now come to the text. This is an extract from Act 3, Scene 2 of the play Julius Caesar. The name of the play is Julius Caesar, and the writer, the playwright, or the uh, dramatist was William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare. Shakespeare, right? The following is a prose adaptation of a short extract from Act 3, Scene 2 of William Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. Right. Then characters. The role was played in that entire drama by some of these characters also. Here, 1, 2, 3 characters are there. That's what I said, Brutus. So I, even in this occasion, I have to tell you some historical situation that in the Roman Empire, one king was ruling. Under his rule, 3-4 great warriors were there. They were going to any part of the other than Rome Empire and winning the wars. So one of them was Julius Caesar. He was a great warrior. Another was Brutus. So these are all great warriors of Roman Empire. Particularly after winning and coming back, they can become the emperors. So Brutus has gone to some other place, and Julius Caesar went to Pompeii, and he defeated the king of the Pompeii and came back. The whole Roman citizens appreciated, praised Julius Caesar like anything. In the before, in the I'm talking about Act 2 or Act 1. So what happens is the Roman people praise a lot Julius Caesar. So there is a Casca is there, Decca is there, Cassius is there, Brutus is there, Antony is there, Cinna is there. So many people, all were in their prime ages and doing lot of service to their country, beloved country, Rome. And Julius Caesar, of course, the mightiest of all the warriors. He went to Pompeii with his soldiers and defeated the ruler of the Pompeii and came back. When he came back, many people, common people of Rome, citizens of Rome, encouraged him or praised him or thrown laurels on him, and there were great celebrations. And his close friend Mark Antony offered him after coming back from that war, he was offered throne 3 4 times. And at the festival of Lupercal festival, they celebrate every year. So in on the occasion of Lupercal festival, he this particular friend Mark Antony offered him throne, but Julius Caesar rejected it. He open-heartedly rejected it. He never wanted to be the king of Rome. Okay, but still, due to some misunderstanding or certain things might have led that everyone believes that Caesar was going to become the king. And Brutus, along with some of his friends, close friends, you know, get disturbed, and particularly Brutus is being uh, stimulated by his group of friends, and they plan a conspiracy to kill Caesar, to kill Caesar. On a fine day, they call Julius Caesar to the parliament, or to the Capitol, not capital, Capitol, that is their, assembly place. All the important people come over there on a particular night, March 15th, and they kill him in the night. All the gangsters, Brutus and gang of people, Casca, Cassius, Deca, all this group of conspirators, 14, 15 conspirators, along with Brutus. Brutus was close friend of Julius Caesar, remember that. And Mark Antony was also close friend of Julius Caesar, but he doesn't participate in the conspiracy. He does not become one of the perpetrators or conspirators to kill the Caesar. Actually, Mark Antony was not there on that day. So Julius Caesar was called to the Capitol, TOL, not TAL, Capitol Assembly Hall. And in the night, his wife was cautioning him, and a poet was also cautioning, and many other, bad omens were taking place before he was coming. But Brutus called, his close friend called, so he woke up from the sleep, and he left the palace and went to the Capitol. There he was brutally murdered by his own friends by wounding him 33 injuries, by stabbing him 33 different injuries, wounds, by making him 33 wounds, WOULD, wounds. They stabbed him 33 in 33 places, 33 times, and he was, brutally murdered, brutally killed. And finally, Brutus was also dead. When Julius Caesar sees Brutus, his last words of Julius Caesar's last words in the drama, actually at the end, not in our part. I'm telling you from the beginning to the end, actually what happened. He came becoming victorious, and then lot of celebrations were there. He was offered in the Lupercal festival the crown, but he rejected wholeheartedly. He was not at all ambitious. He was not at all a man to rule. So simply he rejected. And then finally, as his faith among the people of Rome, citizens of Rome, was growing, some conspiracy taken place. So he was finally murdered. What he says, you too, Brutus, you too, Brutus. If anybody else would have killed me, that wouldn't have mattered. But you too, Brutus, he says the final words. In the play, the final words, the last words of Julius Caesar in the play, Julius Caesar, is you too, Brutus, you too, TOO, Nivu kuda na, in that sense. You too, Brutus, right? So this is what happened, and then he died. After his death, his body was taken into common people. Okay, so just there, our his body was taken to the people, because people for the last time they want to pay tribute to one of the warriors of their Rome. So there the Brutus was there. So here is Brutus, a Roman politician who helped murder Caesar, and Antony, a Roman general and close friend of Caesar. Citizens, the common people of Rome. Okay. Now here is Brutus. Brutus starts his speech. Okay. This is what Brutus speaks first. Then citizens understand something. They say their mind, 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. Then comes Mark Antony. Brutus leaves Mark Antony over there to deliver his speech. And Brutus, as he murdered in the night with his group of conspirators, he leaves that place. Then Mark Antony speaks. And finally, what happens? Two speeches. That's why I focused on one sentence. Have you ever happened to listen to great speech and got inspired from it? Or has that moved you? Or have you been moved by it? Okay, here are two speeches. One is of Brutus, the other one is of going to be the Mark Antony's. Actually, both were friends of Julius Caesar, who was being murdered. This we see in the tomorrow's class. Do you know the meaning of kill, murder, and assassinate? How do you differentiate between these three terms? Kill, murder, and assassinate. Are you there? Do you know it? Or don't you? Do you have the idea?
Yes, sir.
What is the difference? Kill, murder, and assassinate. Three words are synonyms, but they are used at their appropriate places. If you have idea, you speak out. Only we are left over with 1 minute, less than 1 minute now. To kill is the cat killed the rat. Small thing, small other thing. To murder is some plan, some hatching, some kind of plan will take place, and then some people murder, brutally murdered we use. And then assassinate is for only parliamentarians, great people, politicians. Okay?
Okay.
Right. This is the difference. Now time is up and it will stop at any time. Before that, we will try and stop it here. Okay? Right. We will meet again tomorrow. Till then,
Sir,
yeah, time is over.
if there is any...
You message me in the WhatsApp if you want to say
Okay.
anything. Right.
Thank
Because
you.
time is up. It will stop at any second.